Okay, this is the video for the notes for 9.3. It's equations containing rational exponents. All right, so it gives you instructions on the notes. Isolate the term containing the rational exponent. Then you're going to raise both sides to the power that is the reciprocal of the power in the problem. Then you're going to solve for x, and then you're going to check for an extraneous solutions, okay? And then you're going to write your answer once you've done that. Okay, so just refer back to your notes if you forget the steps. So let's look at number 1. First thing you need to look for is when there's an when there's an even number at the top of your fraction and your exponent, you're going to have, this is an even number. When you have an even, your answer is going to be plus or minus at the end, okay? Now then on number 2, when you have an odd on the top, okay, of your fraction exponent, this is going to be an odd number. You're not going to have, there is no plus or minus answer, okay? All right, so first off, this one's even, so we know our answer is going to be plus or minus, okay? So it says isolate the terms containing the rational exponent, meaning isolate means get it on one side by itself, which it already is. So step 1 is already done. So step 2, now you're going to raise both sides. So this is to the 4/3 to the power that is the reciprocal of the power in the problem. So the reciprocal of 4/3 is 3/4. So 16 to the 3/4, okay? So we put both sides to the 3/4 power, and that was because it's the reciprocal of 4/3. Because what happens is it cancels these out. You end up getting 12 over 12, which is 1. So you just get x to the 1, which is x, to the 16 to the 3/4 power. Now then you're going to rewrite 16 to the 3/4 power in a radical form. And now you're going to have your 4 and your 16, and this is going to be to the 3rd power. Okay? And remember, this is plus or minus. I'm going to write it over here. Let me give myself some space. Plus or minus. And it's plus or minus because it was even up here, remember. Okay, so now what we need to find, we need groups of 4. So you're going to have 8 and 2, 4 and 2, 2 and 2. So you end up getting 4 2s. So you have a pair of 2s, or a group of 2s, I should say. It's more than a pair. So x is equal to, now you're going to have plus or minus, you're going to have 2 cubed. Okay, because there's nothing left over. So this becomes 2. So x equals plus or minus 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So plus or minus 8. That's your answer. Okay? But then now you have to check for an extraneous solution. So that means you have to put in positive 8 back into the original equation and negative 8 back into the original equation and make sure that they are true statements. So you're going to have 8 to the 4/3 is equal to 16. You're going to do this and have 8 and 3, 4 equals 16. So let's see, 8, this would be 4 and 2, 2 and 2. So you get 1 pair of 2s. So the 3rd root of 8 becomes 2 to the 4th. And 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So you get 16 is equal to 16. Check. Now let's do negative 8. So you would have negative 8 to the 4/3 equals 16. So now here you're going to have the same thing. There's a negative 8 equals 16. Okay. Now then you're going to have for 8, you'd have 4 and 2 and 2 and 2. Okay. Which you're going to get you a group of 2s. You're going to have negative 2 to the 4th equals 16. So negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. But negative 8 times negative 2 gives you positive 16. So it works out. So the answer is plus or minus 8. They both checked. All right, so let's do one more. Let's pick, which one should I do? Not even. All right, so we'll do 3. number 3, okay? So here, this is an odd number, okay? So odd number means there is no plus or minus answer, okay? So you're just going to solve it. So you're going to move your 6 over, so you're going to get 3x to the 1/2 power equals -6. Now you're going to divide both sides by 3, because we're trying to get the power and the x, the term with the fraction, to by itself, okay? So x is equal to, or x to the 1/2 is equal to -2. Oh, sorry, this was parentheses here. Let me erase this. I didn't see there was parentheses. So 3. We have parentheses here. So you're not going to divide. We can't divide if the parentheses are there. Let me fix that. Sorry, jumped ahead of myself and I forgot my parentheses. All right, so when there's parentheses in their group, that means this whole thing is to the 1/2 power. So when that's the case, they have to stay together. You can't split them up yet. So this is, you're going to multiply this by the reciprocal on both sides. So this becomes, these cancel out, and this just becomes 3x is equal to -6 squared. So now -6 squared is -6 times -6, which gives you 36. And you're going to have 3x. So now you divide both sides by 3, and you get x is equal to 12. Now you just have to check it. So now you're going to put 3, you're going to rewrite it, and you're going to put where x is, you're going to put 12. Okay? So now you get 36 to the 1/2 plus 6 equals 0. So you're taking the square root of 36 plus 6 equals 0. So 6 plus 6 is equal to 0. So 12 is equal to 0? Nah, it's not. So that's not true. Okay? So that means that we only got one solution, which is 12, and it does not work. It is an extraneous solution, so this becomes a no solution answer. All right, let's do one more. Let's look at this last one, okay? So your 2 is even, so that means your answer is going to be a plus-minus answer. Okay? So now let's look. We're going to have x to the 2/3. You're going to subtract your 11. Okay? And you're going to get 16 is equal to x to the 2/3. So now you can do what? To the 3/2 on both sides. These cancel out, and you're left with x is equal to 16 to the 3/2. Okay, 16 to the 3/2 can be written like this. This is plus or minus now. Remember, we've got to add that to our answer. So the square root of 16 is 4, and it's cubed. So 4 cubed is going to be x is equal to plus or minus 64. Okay, so that's our answer. That's what we get. Now then, we have to check it, though, and make sure that both of the solutions work. So you're going to have 64 to the 2/3 plus 11 equals 27. And now here you would get, this would be the squared 64 cubed plus 11 equals 27. So now this becomes oh, sorry, I had wrote this backwards. 3 and a 2. Okay, so now then this can be 8 and 8 and 4 and 2. 4 and 2. You're going to get 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. So you have one group of 2s, two group of 2s. Okay? Because you're grouping them in 3s. So now this just becomes 4. 4 squared plus 11 equals 27. So you get 16 plus 11 equals 27, which is true. So that checks. And now you would do the other one too. So you would have to put in negative 64 to the 2/3 plus 11 equals 27. Okay, you're going to get the same thing. This is going to end up being negative 4 squared plus 11 equals 27. So you do the same steps. The same thing applies. So where we got 4 squared here, over here, it's going to be the same thing, except this answer is going to be negative. So negative 4 squared. So negative 4 squared ends up giving you positive 16 plus 11 equals 27. So it checks off. So plus or minus 64 is your answer. Okay? All right. So that's 3 examples.